Looking in on the U.S. Capitol ahead of the inauguration on Monday, which is being moved inside now because of the very cold weather there in D.C. It's warm here in our studio, so let's bring in our panel right now. With us here this week, we have former state party chair for the Indiana Democrats, Robin Winston, along with 2016 vice chair for the Indiana Trump campaign, Tony Samuel, former state lawmaker Mike Murphy, and UIndy political science professor Dr. Laura Wilson. So Laura, I'll start with you as we make this transition now from the Biden administration to the new Trump administration. Of course, there was this big news of the ceasefire deal, but there was also a warning in President Biden's speech about the dangers of our country, perhaps in his view, becoming an oligarchy. What did you make of his farewell address and the many weighty topics he discussed?
Yeah, I think he was really approaching his legacy, and this is kind of his last pitch to the American public, having served as president for 4 years, but vice president is 8 decades in the Senate, right? This is the last time he serves in that elected office, trying to reach out to the people. And it feels in some ways like he's a placeholder president in between two Trump administrations, but he was trying to make this larger argument of where we are now better because of 4 years under a Biden administration. I think people don't remember those addresses necessarily as much as what a president does during their legacy. And most recently, all of the pardons, I think, will be more impactful when we think back on Biden's presidency.
And we're going to be looking at some of the polling numbers coming up here soon. President Biden certainly wasn't a terribly popular president. Mike, how will history record this moment in time and this one-term Biden administration in between these two Trump presidencies?
Well, I think he's very much in the same position that Jimmy Carter was. He was brought in with tough problems. Jimmy Carter had inflation, gas prices, all that kind of thing, and had to work his way through that, just like Biden did COVID. But then when it comes to the biggest deal, it happens the last few days, right? I mean, Biden gets the hostages released. Trump will try to take credit, but 200 years from now, nobody's going to remember that Trump tried to take credit. It's all going to be about Biden, and he deserves the laurels for it.
Tony, I know you're looking forward to this new Trump administration. You'll be there at the inauguration. What are you expecting to hear from the 47th president as he takes the oath of office on Monday? And can he actually bring this country together after everything that's happened these past few years?
I think so, and that you can tell it's always his top priority as he has made speeches at rallies and throughout the last 4 years when he wasn't in office. That Biden speech was doom and gloom. He was doom and gloom to the end. The Trump speech at the inauguration will be uplifting. It was 8 years ago in 2016 when I was there. It will be again. He will set a new course for this country, and it's really, a strange phenomenon that you had 4 years when we were on the upswing, then 4 years when everything fell apart, and now he's got to fix it. But he's, of course, domestic policy and the economy, but also fixing the problems with the wars breaking out.
As we mentioned, it's now going to be indoors. We already know Nancy Pelosi has said she won't be there. Former First Lady Michelle Obama isn't attending. Of course, President Trump didn't attend President Biden's inauguration 4 years ago. President Biden will be there Monday. How does your party approach not just this inauguration itself, Robin, but these next 4 years with President Trump back in office?
Well, first off, the fact that he's there shows the civility that Joe Biden has. I mean, you're looking at a guy that gave 50 years of his life to public service. I don't think his speech was doom and gloom. I think his speech was about the new America that we're going to see with jobs in Lafayette and West Lafayette and railroad overpasses and things that are going to take time. As far as the relationship with Trump, depends upon what he does. I mean, our job is to make sure that we stay within. It's like bowling. We got to put up the things along, the guardrails along there. Our job is to be the guardrails for the American people.
Mike, some Republicans here in Indiana certainly seem mindful, echoing some of the message coming from the Trump circles in Washington. Governor Braun, following the president-elect's wishes on flags being brought back to full staff for Inauguration Day. You also have this proposal in the State House this week about annexing parts of Illinois that sounds a little bit like the approach President Trump has been trying to take with Greenland and Canada, even if some think it's just a joke, really. What did you make of all that?
Well, first of all, there's parts of Illinois I'd like to annex, like the Garden of the Gods, one of the most beautiful parks in the Midwest. But you want to make sure that we do not annex Chicago. That they're corrupt, full of problems, high taxes, and crime.
But realistically, we're not annexing anything, right? I mean, the Illinois legislature is not going to approve it.
It's up to Speaker Houston. Speaker Houston's a pretty powerful guy. You never know. But when it comes to the Trump, moves and bellowing, so to speak, I mean, it's the most aggressive colonialist attitude we've seen since James Polk, when he came in and said to Britain, we're going to war if you don't give me Oregon. We're going to war if we did go to war to take parts of Mexico and the Southwest. I mean, if I were the Prime Minister of Denmark, I'd call his bluff and say, you invade Greenland, we'll meet you on the beaches. And see if he really does it.
Wow. Laura, let's talk about the State House here this week. The new governor certainly getting to work quickly with a number of executive orders, eliminating DEI and work from home for state employees, and also calling for $700 million in tax cuts and spending cuts. Certainly some questions, though, about how all of that's going to work at the local level.
Sure, and I think that's probably going to be the biggest question and challenge. A lot of Hoosiers say they don't like high property taxes, and Governor Braun, when he was campaigning, said he wanted to reduce those. But that's the money that goes to local government to support local government, and if you don't have taxes, you don't have service. So I think those are some of the questions that will need to be addressed. I think another thing to consider is executive orders are slightly different from legislative bills and laws, and we'll see all of that play out in session.
Tony, what are your thoughts on that tax question? Can the local governments around the state really handle those kinds of tax cuts?
Well, local governments need to find ways to raise more revenues, and those ways are out there, and I think the General Assembly realizes that. And so there is going to be pressure on local governments to not just rely on the state budget over and over again. And you know, just speaking on the annexation issue, there's no reason that it's called Lake Michigan. It could easily be called Lake Indiana.
I've heard that joke this week.
Well, I thought I made it up.
Yeah, there you go, right? Robin, your response to all of that, and what were your thoughts overall on the first week of this Braun administration?
Well, first off, I didn't like the DEI thing. I mean, you know, it's on the cusp of Dr. King's birthday. I mean, I think you could have waited a few days if that was going to be your policy. Many people will be trekking down the road to see Notre Dame play in Atlanta, a city that my mentor, Maynard Jackson, said they moved ahead because their slogan was the city too busy to hate. And I don't think that shows that when you get rid of DEI right off the bat. As it relates to annexing, I don't know. I mean, are we going to now go across the river and try to take parts of Kentucky? I mean, what's next? I think we've got issues right in front of ourselves here in Indiana that we have to address.
All right, we're going to be back with much more coming up, including some new polling numbers as President Biden leaves office and as President Trump returns to Washington. You'll hear what voters are saying next.